You're locked into Inception Radio Network, Superior, Wisconsin.
This is TruthFunders Radio on the Inception Radio Network, a weekly audio safari that features the newest in paranormal discoveries while highlighting the latest and not to be missed TruthFunder.com projects. For truth seekers and true believers, this week's TruthFunders starts now.
Greetings, bonjour, hola, welcome. Hello to you. This is the live TruthFunders Radio show on the Inception Radio Network. My name is Art Webb. I am your host for this weekly look at TruthFunders.com and everything that is the paranormal, metaphysical, universal, and essentially good. It is all about the light here each and every week, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on the Inception Radio Network. Tune in and join us. We would love to have you interact on the telephone or on the chat. Or, it's 2015. There's so many ways to interact now that you have your choice. So we encourage you to join us for the live show each and every Wednesday here on IRN. Thanks so much for joining us this week. As always, with me is the CEO and the man behind all of the glory that is TruthFunders.com. Without him, there is no me. I mean, literally, if he wasn't on this plane of existence, I probably would never have been born. His name is Mark Schwartz. And Mark, I'd like to welcome you to the show once again. Hello, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Art. Yes, without me, you would never have been born. It was immaculate conception that you were brought into this earth, and that was all my doing.
Nope, that's not true. I know that for a fact.
It's a very strange way to introduce me this week. I have to say. I say what comes to me. Whatever I let the words flow through me, like water off a duck's back, or however you want to say it. But then the energy just speaks to me, and the words come out. Don't ask me where they come from; they just come. All right, I'll make sure to know that.
At the top of the show here, I want to remind anybody that, I want to fill in all of you crazy happening listeners out there that Mark and I were a guest on another IRN show earlier this week. And if you'd missed that, we would love for you to check out the podcast. I don't know if that's available or not. Is that available? What show were we on again? Exactly.
It is available. And we were on the wonderful show, Psychology's Outer Limits, with host Eric Williams.
Yeah, Eric's the man. We really, you did half an hour with him, and I came on and I did the last half hour with both of you guys, and that flew for me. I mean, we barely scratched the surface of things that I could have talked for hours about, but that was a lot of fun. And,
whenever we start talking about paranormal radio and sort of the behind-the-scenes look at, the different facets of it all, it's pretty. Those things just seem to flow and fly because we're so passionate about it.
But that was a lot of fun, and we did get to discuss a lot of things on Eric's show that we definitely don't ever, have the time to discuss on this show. And it was certainly a opportunity to provide a little bit different side of you and I. So I encourage everybody to go download that podcast if you have not yet, especially just because Eric's the man. Like, he's such a smart dude, and he clearly gets it in so many ways, and he's so genuinely nice that it's hard to say anything about this guy negative whatsoever. He's a teacher. He's doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, absolutely. he is fantastic, and I definitely recommend everyone, if you haven't heard a show, check it out. It's Sunday nights at 4:00 Pacific Standard Time. I believe that's right, and MJ can correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's a great show, and Eric's a really great guy.
By the way, you can download IRN's amazing app. They got the IRN app. You just go into the App Store, the Google Android market, search Inception Radio Network or IRN. Download the app. It's an easier way to listen by all accounts. I mean, you just pop that sucker on, and it's just you're streaming and going. I mean, it's none of the BS of trying to open Safari or whatever and type in. No, just do the app. So, I mean, I got the app. You got the app. Pretty much everyone has the app.
Yeah, the app is great. You can also go to iTunes, download everything there. But the app, I mean, really, that's the way to go. If you're listening to this now and you're streaming it and you just, clicked on the link, go get the app, because the app has all these awesome shows and you can listen to them. They pop up new shows every single night, and that's the end of my promo for it. But it's amazing. IRN does some really great stuff, and we are proud to be a part of it.
Yep. Let's quit burying the lead here. We've got a really spectacular show. No, should I say spooktacular show lined up for this evening. I mean, is there anything we need to really catch up on from the week here in terms of the news of paranormal? I don't think I saw a whole lot going on. And we got some heavy hitter guests here, so maybe we should just jump into that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So tonight on the show, we have some amazing guests. And for those of you who listen to Darkness Radio, I first heard our guests on Darkness Radio, and they intrigued me so much that I really wanted to reach out to them. And a lot of times on TruthFunders Radio, we have people who create projects on the TruthFunders website, and we talk to them and we learn about, what they're trying to get funded for their paranormal projects and what's going on there. This week, we're taking a break from that, and we're just gonna talk to our amazing guests. And those amazing guests are Robert Major, who is a clinical hypnotherapist in San Diego, and his sister, Antonette Bender. And so what's amazing about them is that they are able to detect and remove attachments or possessions from people. So they also seal the energetic openings that these attachments entered from. So according to
I already have so many questions to ask. Just in that one sentence alone, and I know it's going to keep going. But man, just that alone is enough. Keep going, please.
All right. So according to Robert, attachments have been here as long as mankind. They are generally spirits of men and women who failed to return to the light and instead chose to return to their earthly lives using some weakened individual as their host. Most times people don't even realize that they're attached, and this invading spirit wants it to be that way. They want us to think that they're devils and demons, so we're afraid to confront them, and this way they are free to manipulate and influence and sometimes sicken the person without repercussions. Clues will be long bouts of depression and unexplained physical ailments, a bad feeling about oneself that lingers on and on. And Robert and Antoinette have seen many a strange thing from doing this work. But according to Robert, one thing that they can assure you is that they do know how to remove them, which we're going to get into tonight. We'll talk at length about this. Not all attachments want to destroy you, they say, but no matter what, these are energy robbers. They're like energy vampires, that suck the life out of you and have no right to do what they're doing.
No, they got no right to do that at all. Really,
they have no right. They don't. Let's get them out of here. So more often,
space, get out, vampire. Sorry.
More often than not, they've lived ruinous lives and will continue that path by ruining the lives of others. This phenomenon is much more common than we realize, and there are few who truly know how to combat them. And Robert and Antoinette know how. So you can learn more about them today on the TruthFunders Radio interview, or you can visit their website by going to www.ghostremover.com. So now I would like to welcome to the show Robert and Antoinette. Welcome to TruthFunders Radio.
Okay, we're glad to be here.
We are glad to be here.
Yeah, well,
I'm so glad that you guys. Yeah, no kidding.
Seriously, I heard you, and it was like a beacon of light when I heard you guys on Darkness Radio. I thought we have to get these on TruthFunders Radio because there was so much more and so many questions I had lingering that I thought, the world needs to know this. They need to hear about this. I think a lot of people out there, might have thought, especially if they're into the paranormal, that maybe they do have an attachment, or then there's a lot of people who have no idea what an attachment is. So if you guys wouldn't mind,
do you actually mind, Mark, if I jump in here and ask the first question? Because I think, coming from the listener's perspective, this is where I would be sitting right now. I'm very unfamiliar with the concept of attachments and things being attached to humans and possessions and all this stuff. This is all new to me. Visually, in my head, what I see when this topic of attachments is brought up is like the blue whale sharks, or these larger sharks that have the little sucker fish attached to their back, and they just live there permanently. Is that what it's like in any way, shape, or form, or is that a completely inappropriate analogy altogether for how that's
a creative analogy? But that little guy, he's not hurting that shark that much. What we deal with is somebody who could take you over.
So they consume you altogether. They swallow you up, in a sense.
That's exactly. Your physical body becomes them. What you do is you're driving an automobile. We are all energetic beings. We have to start from that perception. since we are this car, and we all get to have the design we want to drive through life, and we're going to have a great time with it. We're born, we live, we die. Well, there's a darkness out there who'd like to hijack your car occasionally. And if you leave the door open somehow, they're going to hop in there. Maybe there'll be a backseat driver. Sometimes they take the wheel.
So when they do, like, where do they come from? Where do these attachments come from, and how do they?
Are they summoned? Like this, do people send them to you, or are you just walking along the street and they randomly pick you off?
Yeah, they're everywhere. What we have here is we're living in multi-dimensions around us. We have ghosts around us every day. You really can't see them because they're out of your perception. But through the work that I do with hypnosis, we can heighten your awareness. And in trance, we've been able to super consciousness, so to speak, where when you're in trance, you can see them. Certain people can. And that's what my sister can do.
So how did this power or this gift come along? How did you, Antonette, realize that you had this special gift?
I've always known I was gifted, actually, probably since 9, with physically seeing, ghosts and things like that, and having a little interaction then, but then it kind of went away and came back over a period of time, and then, you get to where you ignore it pretty much, and just kind of, you see things, you're like, I probably didn't see it. But there came a time at my home where there was toys going all over the floor that were my son's when he was a baby, and he is now, I think, 11 or something at that point. So I said to him, hey, why do you keep leaving your toys out? He's like, Mom, I never took them out. So basically, some bread levitated by the microwave. There was all these different things happening and hit him in the head, and then we ran out of the house. We're like, oh, my God.
Wow.
So Bob had said, hey, let me put you in hypnosis, and let's see how far down you can go and see if we can see who's in here. I mean, that's the thing. So that's how it started. And it happened to be a little boy inside my house. And then that story is actually really incredible. And so that's that part of the story. And then there's even it gets heavier, bigger, and then all of a sudden I just have this gift. I have, I talk to spirit guides. I have animal communication. I can remove attachments. I have all this really cool gifts now, and I'm pretty excited about it.
And Antoinette, I'm curious what you did prior to this becoming a parent in your life and really making this transition into where you're at now. What were you doing with your life before that?
Oh, like raising my son. I was a military contractor.
Wow, so you're just living an everyday life. You weren't involved with any of this, anything paranormal, essentially outside of that as it was.
I've never been involved. I mean, I've always, like I said, I know I see the ghost, and I just kind of chose to be like, whatever. But then sometimes you just gotta listen.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the key. Sometimes it's a domino effect. My sister was caregiver for her nephew who had a bicycle accident, and he became a paraplegic, almost quadriplegic. And one time we were doing some trance work, and as my sister was in trance, a voice came through her, and she says, I would like to speak with you, but I have to have permission. Would that be okay? If I could speak with you? I said, yes, it would be. She goes, okay, I have to go get permission. I will return.
And this is the first incident with a spirit guide, by the way. This is my very first. Whoa.
How long ago? How long ago is this, by the way, that this happened with the spirit guide?
17 years ago.
Okay, so you guys have you've been at this for a little while now. This wasn't 2 years ago or anything.
Oh no, we've been doing this for a very long time. And the spirit guide, her name was Ra. She said, the person you're taking care of right now was my husband 700 years ago in India. And he basically recreated the injuries that he had when he when he wasn't alive on Earth before. And she was his personal spirit guide. And she said, if you could help me, I don't like the way he's really being treated at home, and I need those things to change. And if you could do that, I would be glad to come back on a weekly basis and teach you a lot of things. We have basically cut off communication to the human race because we've given up on them. And I said, okay, let's do that. So we met twice a week, actually, for years and years. And we were doing incredible work and discovering about the trueness about who we really are. We're spiritual beings.
Wow, they were this open with you. I mean, and forthcoming, because I personally have had a very insignificant interaction or how do I say, brief moment with my spirit guide that was nowhere near what you guys are describing here. What was so special about your situation that you think they were willing to be so forthcoming after essentially giving up on the human race, as you say?
I'm probably going to say, because she's kind of like a head spirit guide, but there's a lot over there, but she's just one of them. Now, I'm going to say the reason why I'm so special probably is because of I'm very caring, and I was caring for her husband from a past life. So she probably saw how well I was doing that. That's what I believe. And she really loves us, actually. And then we met all kinds of spirit guides. It became comical. Sometimes and it's pretty great. I mean,
I had 1,000 questions.
How so comical? Like what is an experience that was sort of a funny experience or interaction you had with the spirit guide?
Okay, so there's one from Alaska, I think, and he went by the state's name, I think, or Juno, and that was a name he had taken on. But every time he would arrive, it just smelled like fish in the room, and he was very comical. And he happened to be, I believe he's an Eskimo.
Yeah, he was a spirit guide.
And he was a spirit guide. So we've met him. We've met I think he's a Chinese or Japanese warrior.
Yeah, Siam. He was a samurai.
Yeah, he was a samurai. So, I mean, there's so many different ones, but we're talking like 1400s. We're meeting these people who used to roam the earth, long years ago.
And are they spirit guides now when they're speaking with you because of having gone through their reincarnation cycle so many times and gone through the journey that they have reached enlightenment, essentially?
You can Ra lived one time on the Earth, and then she decided to stay over there on the side. So, I mean, you get to come back as many times as you want and have this adventure, but it's supposed to be an adventure. It's not supposed to be.
No, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be some ordeal.
So, as spirit guides, essentially, could your soul or my soul or Mark's soul or Antonette's soul, when we pass on and move back on, could we be spirit guides at that point if we so chose to be so? With
you make a choice. It's a gift. It depends how you live your life.
Yeah, you have to live your life pretty darn good, like doing good things, beautifying things, because that's really what it was supposed to be about. That's what this show is all about, essentially. I mean, you're talking to two people here that we fundamentally run our lives based on these types of morals. So we're with you guys 100%.
I have a quick question. So then what is the fundamental difference? So there's these attachments, and they're men or women who have died and have not gone to the light. They've decided to stay back. And then there's a spirit guide who, he's done really good, or she has done really good in life and tried to beautify things. And then they decide to stay back and help people. So what's the difference there between being a spirit guide and then being an attachment? I mean, there's obviously a big difference between one or the other. And do you choose if you're an attachment? Is that something that you choose as well?
No, we're talking darkness. We're talking light and darkness. Darkness is when you do not go to the light. Now, the spirit guides, all of them have gone to the light, and then what they do is they're given tasks to look after various people. Everyone has a spirit or a guardian angel, but the darkness exists here, and when we ask the spirit guides if somebody is attached, they can tell because there's like a cocoon or a spider web around that energetic field. So all of a sudden, they're not attached to the communication any longer, and they're kind of cut off, and they're out of touch.
That's such a really great visual that you just gave me. It really helped to explain it.
When somebody... Oh, sorry, Mark. I didn't mean you're...
Oh, no, just this dark cocoon, this web, where... so the spirit guide can't reach somebody? Is that sort of where the web...
Now he can't really communicate with it because they're trapped off. And now the darkness kind of like is running, and they're influencing this person. And they're causing that person to act out as they want them to act out.
And our stories with our people that we have taken attachments off or anything are really incredible, by the way. And how they go from, point A, which is attached, to not attached anymore, and it's really nice for us to do that kind of work.
I can't wait to get into that. I know we're like, this is what Art and I do every week. We get an incredible guest, and we fight and battle for like the next question because
this
we're so
week
excited.
It's especially a match.
It's a special relationship.
Yeah, we're boxing. It's boxing on the air. I wanted to ask if you guys could then maybe elaborate a little bit further on. I'm assuming these attachments have been around for millennia, just as like human beings and spirit guides and all that. How before, we're talking hundreds of years ago, did one detach themselves from an attachment? What sorts of ways would they go about even doing this if they're completely unaware that they're attached? Are there helpers on the other side that work to break these things down with you, or what's the process with that?
Well, you mean how hundreds of years ago? I mean, we don't know.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
If you want to go biblical, it's biblical. Mary Magdalene had 7 on her. And so they tell us, back when Christ was here, he was taking them off a lot of people. And I don't know where set my people free, but I think that's where we come in. We say, hey, set these people free. It's their life. These attachments, somebody could die tomorrow. You don't have to be here millenniums ago as an attacher. Somebody could die right now, and they could go out and attach to somebody. But they're crossing a spiritual line. And once they do that, they can lose their soul for that, because it's one of the biggest no-nos. You're not allowed to do it. This is your gift. This is your life. And that's our premise. We come in and we say, hey, let's give these people their lives back to them. You have no right to do what you're doing.
But really, a lot of people will just live the rest of their lives and die with the attachment, the cocoon around.
And then,
wow.
And maybe that attachment will grab that person at the end of their life and make a little army with them. We've seen where, because when people are attached, they can have 50 attachments, but there's basically 1, 2, or 3 leaders of all those attachments.
Yep, we had a kid who was attached with 44.
Right.
And this kid, he was only 25, I believe, and he was a heroin addict. So strange, and his mom couldn't get him in to see us because the attachments, what they do is they make sure that he doesn't go. So either they take over where they're not going to have any communication with the parent who's trying to get them to our office, or anybody who's good. They'll sit around with all the other people and, do things like that. Now, in fact, his mom somehow got him to the office. We took 44 attachments off this young boy. He was 5'10", he weighed 120 when he got there. And after we took the attachments off, she was able to get him to detox before, the drug takes over in the body, because before he wouldn't go. And he got detox. Now, this kid is a whole new guy. He's beautiful. He's back to his normal weight. And that's just a fraction of what we've done.
Yeah, and remember now, like attracts like. So most of those attachments were actually heroin addicts in their life here on Earth. So they actually compound the issue. That's why a lot of people who go for rehab and detox and whatever. They're not successful because once they get out, the attachments are still on them, and they cause them to go right back to what they were doing.
And they have really no choice at all as humans in that moment whatsoever in how they're going to be able to respond to this attachment. It is out of our hands entirely.
Well, if you look at my stuff, I mean, there has to be a break in the energetic field for the attachment to get in. And I had a friend where he did some ecstasy on a July 4th. All of a sudden, these attachments totally took this guy over. They were hobos. They were like 3 hobos from the 40s jumped on this guy. He was a successful engineer for one of these big telecommunication companies, and they got him to give away all of his worldly possessions. He cleared out his bank account, gave all his money away, gave away all his furniture, gave his automobile away. He tried to give away a $1 home, okay? And I went to his house because, he was in 3 days after they let him out of county mental health. I went there and I said, "Hey, Mike." I said, "What's going on?" And he goes, "Mike's not here." He goes, "I'm running the show now."
So it was like a possession, like it actually took over.
Yeah, but they're all possession, but they're at different degrees. They're in there, and they're once the attachment's in there, they start to influence, and then they go for a total control issue.
But that's not to say every time somebody takes ecstasy, for example, they're going to be attached immediately, does it?
Oh no, but believe me, if the energetic field's open and then you got an attachment hanging around, or somebody who wants to attach, guess what? It's like fishing.
Okay, we have to take a break. I got to interrupt you right here. This is so far one of the probably most interesting shows we've done. I'm super excited by this. Mark, you've done phenomenal work here, booking both of these guests. Okay, I'm sorry. You're listening to TruthFunders Radio live on the Inception Radio Network, and we will be back in a couple of minutes. When we get back, I want to know if I need to formulate this question, actually, so I'm going to wait.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, and you got them too. So we'll take a break. We'll have a quick breather here. Mark and I will try and figure out a way to get our rhythm better so that we're actually talking over each other more, because I know that's what you want as listeners, is just be running into each other, just railroad. But you're listening to Truth Funders Radio live on the Inception Radio Network. My name is Art Webb, and we will be this after back.
You're locked into Inception Radio Network, Superior, Wisconsin.
TruthFunders Radio on the Inception Radio Network.
You are listening to the TruthFunders live radio show on the Inception Radio Network, and this is a very lively conversation that Mark and I are having. We're talking about attachments, we're talking about spirit guides, we're talking about all the things that are not talked about enough in everyday society at all, because these are things that inflict and afflict every single one of us. Well, maybe not every single one of us, but I think the vast majority of us at least know somebody who has been inflicted by something like this. And Mark, you had the first question, so go ahead.
Yeah, so if you're just joining us now from the break, we are talking to Robert and Antonette, and they have a website, ghostremover.com, and what they do is they remove attachments from you, or from people that feel weighed down or might have some bad mojo sort of following them or around them, stopping them from having a positive life. So I wanted to ask, these attachments that come after people, do they only go after people who are feeling depressed, or, is someone... But I'll bring it back a second. A couple weeks ago, we had Heidi Hollis on our show, and she's really connected with the other side. And she was saying that when someone becomes possessed, that a lot of times they like to go after somebody who is a light source, or someone who's really positive and full of light, because that's sort of like a bigger prize that these demons can take over. Now, with attachments, they're not necessarily demons. They're a little bit different than that.
Now, I'll give you our take on it.
Sure.
When in throughout time, when the ghost, as time goes by, they lose the humanness and of form, because as we're doing the trance work, my sister's able to see the ghost. So if it's a fresh ghost, then they still have a human form about them. But as time goes by, 300, 400, 500 years, they become distorted and they become grotesque. So I think back in time, there must have been some trance people doing the same kind of thing and seeing them and not really putting the two and two together, that they were still humans at one time. And to continue on your question about going after the powerful ones,
absolutely not.
No, they can't. Because that's, if you're positive and you have this force field, there's no way they can break it. It has to be a broken person.
And that was going to be my question too. That was the exact same question I was going to have: is strong people are less susceptible to it? And you,
they can't get in. It's like you have a safe, and you can't crack the combination.
Yeah,
once again, Robert.
Shield... Oh no, go ahead.
You have great imagery. It's great imagery for radio. A safe that you can't crack. I love that.
If people shield on a daily basis as well, just going about actually like visualizing themselves shielding, does that help the process at all? Keep them away?
I think if you maintain a healthy outlook in life and you eat properly and you exercise and you do the right things, then they're not going to want that. They will avoid positive things. They only want the negative because that's what they feed. They feed on the negative. They cannot feed on positive.
And let me
Mark,
tell you,
I don't think you or I have attachments.
There's a difference between an attachment and a ghost. Just to let you know.
That's important. Okay, let's go ahead and define that because that is important.
Right.
Okay, so if somebody ghosts, you have every right in the world to ghost. No big deal. We cannot remove ghosts if they're not causing a problem. They have every right to ghost. But once they cross the line and they attach, then we have every right to go after them. Now, when not all attachments are bad and have bad intentions. Like a lot, if you go on, and your listeners, listen to this one, just go on to YouTube and look up Beyonce at the Super Bowl.
She morphs.
Yeah, and she morphs into this being. And it's in a 1 minute and 54 seconds or something. And we know that she picked up that attachment in France at the Cannes Film Festival in 2011. Now, we don't know how it got in, but it's in there. She calls it Sasha Fierce.
Mm-hmm.
And
So can you remove that from Beyonce from where you are? And what is that procedure? Is it so you couldn't? Why wouldn't you be able to? Do you need her permission? Do you actually need to talk to her, or what's the?
There's no such thing as a remote removal.
Yeah, people who say they can do a remote, I want to meet that person.
Yeah, because you can't. We need to grab onto the energy and pull it out.
Yes, it's a contact. When we do this, we actually enter their world. And when she goes into trance, I put the other person into a trance. Now we're entering their world. And then you have to be
That sounds super dangerous. That sounds incredibly dangerous.
It's super duper dangerous. I've been attacked a few times and almost run over by a driverless car. So it's
you can't even insure that either. That's it's difficult for you guys.
Attachment.
Yeah, but we'll get that attachment. It might be a battle at first, depending how malevolent it is. And we like, again, not all of them are killers, but there's a lot of them out there. The kid, we know that so much evil is done by the attachments. The kid who went into the church, he was attached by killers. The guy who just got convicted, Holmes. Holmes. He's attached. I had a really good friend who got attached. He ended up killing his mom and killing himself.
Wow.
These are attachments causing this.
So then are you able to see the attachment like remotely, but you're not able to actually remove the attachment remotely? Is that right?
As we get the information, if that person is attached, this is the spirit guides. Remember, we have a team here, And then there's an incredible team on the other side that work with us. And it takes everybody to do this job.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty incredible and amazing. One thing, and I want to come back to where we are because there's so much to talk about here, but something that I just have to ask real quick because I'm a little, ADD as we are here on TruthFunders Radio, is that, Antonette, you said that you can talk to animals or you can communicate with animals. I'd really like to know more than that. Like, what is my dog saying? Is that something that I could learn as like a listener, or is that something that you just are born with? And can you hear what the dog is saying, or do you just understand by feeling it and sort of seeing imagery?
It just is the communication I get from all animals. I've got them all, by the way. All animals, they have their own language, but it's able to get interpreted to me, and they're not like going, oh, hi, how are you? They're not doing that. The communication sometimes is telepathic. As I'm under, I have to be in a deep trance in order to really get the communication from them. Like I need to, when I'm down under, I can't even think of the word. What am I thinking?
But there's a space. There's like a mini vortex, and once that's created, then the dog can understand us, and we can understand the dog.
And they're super funny, by the way.
Oh, I am so jealous. That's something that I wish I had. I feel like sometimes I really understand my dog, and then other times I'm thinking, what are you thinking?
If dogs are funny by nature, what are cats by nature? I just have to know.
Oh, no.
They're supreme beings.
Yeah, they're supreme beings.
They are above us, right? Like it is my firm belief that
they are above us.
But they do not talk, and sometimes they'll warn you. Bob had a fight with a strange cat that I brought home from the base. It was about to be killed, but I brought it home, and he's going to tell you this story because it's hilarious. His name was Nolan, and he was a giant Siamese. Go ahead, tell him.
So. And a lot of times when we're in this space, and I'm checking for people for attachments, and we're finding out if a place is haunted and who's in that place. At the same time, any animal who's in our vicinity can speak. So here this cat is in the back room, and he's going, man, I'm not really down with this. You just, I wish you would just leave. And
be quiet.
Or be quiet. And I say, hey, don't. You're not going to control the situation. And I kind of aggravated him a little bit. And he goes, yeah, well, I'll come out there right now, and I'll show you something.
So what are cats doing here on this plane, then? Are they here as just watching? What are they doing? I mean, I'm a cat person. I have 2 cats. I love them. They're the best. What the hell are they doing here?
Well, listen, wait a second. So he's telling this cat, you're not going to come around here and do anything. And he goes, oh, yeah, the cat did. And tell him what's happening.
Within 3 seconds, here comes this cat around the corner right out at me, full speed, like he's going to get me. And I'm like, whoa. So I'm totally in defensive mode. Yeah. So the communication is that direct.
Yeah, but normally cats will not. Engage in a conversation with you. It'd have to be pretty special. I don't think I've ever spoke to a cat who was, oh, hey, how you doing? No.
Yeah, normally
they're very protective. They don't want you to know that they're as, supreme as they are. But, they are.
That is their attitude, though. Yeah, they feel they are the supreme one. And they're better than dogs. And we don't really, the big thing is we don't need you. We can hunt. I can take care of myself if need be. So it's all I need is somebody to open the door when I want them to, feed me when I want it, and that's it.
Yeah, I can't wait to be a cat personally. I mean, that is the ultimate life. It's interesting because cats also, just to finish the thought, have a biology and anatomy that is unique only to itself on the planet Earth. Everybody else can be linked and kind of shown as having broken one off the other somehow, but cats are all on their own, and nobody knows where they came from or how they got here, when they showed up. Cats are just fascinating. We can move on to cats now.
Yeah, and they won't give up that information.
They don't give up any info.
And are there ever attachments on our pets as well? Like, and if there are, is it a cat attachment that's on the cat?
The dog breed that is the attachment of choice is the pit bull. So if you're going to attach to an animal, and you have evil designs, you're not going to take the Chihuahua.
He wants to know if it's like an animal to animal or person to...
it'll. From what we understand is I haven't seen a dog attach a dog to it.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
But we have seen where a ghost can attach to a dog.
And that would make sense about the pit bulls, because I was reading it somewhere. It's like 60 or 80% of all attacks by dogs are from the pit bull breed. So I can see that.
So let me tell you a really funny story really quick, okay? So I'm in the office, and this lady brings her dog in there, and the dog said it was a cat before, but it's in a dog body. And and she's like, oh, come on now. She's like, no, you're not. He's like, I am. And this little dog sprung from the floor all the way up to our cabinet like a cat and just stood there right after the animal told her this.
Yeah, so they reincarnate also, and they basically stay within their domains.
Right, and we've also had like a guy who had to be a dog because he was a dog in the 60s. He's like a hippie dog, and it was super funny. But those kind of things, like it goes on and on. There's no end to what we do.
Yeah, and what she's saying is the guy acted like a dog. He was a womanizer. So the penalty as being a womanizer is, oh, you want to act like a dog? You can be a dog this life.
It was hilarious, and he had a lot to say.
Have you ever had to remove, and this will be my last pet question, it's a segue back into attachments and people, but have you ever had to remove an attachment from a pet? Has anybody ever asked you to do that?
No.
No, because we don't believe that animals attach to animals. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, or ghostly attachment. Yeah, we don't. It's something that's not really prevalent. It may exist, but a lot of things may exist out there. But we'll tell you, 17 years, and this is what we're covering today. You can ask us any question, I'll tell you anything.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we talked to horses. We talked to
a snake.
Yeah, we talked to a snake.
A frog.
Yeah, a frog.
Anita.
Yeah.
Well, what has been the most interesting animal that you've spoken to, just in terms of surprising personality or anything? Is there one you can think of?
A lot of times, remember now, Anita with the frog. It was a penalty. It was a man who acted like he was a female, so he was kind of living male and female lives at the same time.
Are you saying Caitlyn Jenner's coming back as a frog?
Well, yeah, maybe.
We don't want to talk about Caitlyn right now.
Yeah, let me tell you, Caitlyn Jenner, he's attached by two women, okay? So those two women are running him.
And can you see that? Can you guys physically see that when you see him or her speaking on television or whatever? Is that something you can pick up on?
I was suspicious
before he even made that.
And then I just put him in the same way that I do everything. I found his name at birth and his birthday, and I gave it to the spirit guides, and they said yes, he's attached. He's got women on him, and they've basically taken him over.
I knew women were evil. No offense, Antonette.
What's that? It's no offense to me. Hey, I ain't got a size 14 shoe.
Amongst other things, I suppose.
So then, what is, when you do remove these attachments from people, is it something that would hurt the person when they are in the trance? Do they feel it? Is there a physical quality to it that hurts them, or does it feel good? What is the side effect, if any?
Well, you'll have some residual. Sometimes they have an emptiness because they're so used to it. It's like they've had a party going on for a long time, and all of a sudden the party's over, and then they sit there and they go, "Wow, what's all this solitude?"
But now we have done removals where people will go, "Wait a second, am I burning on my stomach?"
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys holding a candle on my head? What else is there?
Well, they can feel the energy. They can feel the attachment trying to escape.
Yeah, shifting. I guess that's what it is. It shifts.
And also, wherever the attachment resides in the body, they can have physical ailments there. We've removed them, and all of a sudden, physical ailments leave. Back pain that had been there, persistent, chronic for 15 years. We do the removal, no more back pain. So we're not saying everybody who has physical ailments has the attachment, but we do know wherever they're residing, they're creating problems.
And so, so what is the I guess, for somebody, okay, here it is. How often do you get called upon for a removal? Is it something that happens on a weekly basis? Do you get 5 of them a week? Do you get 1 of them a month? Is it like only a couple
Are
times
you swimming
a year?
in them and you're so backed up that there's no way you could ever get to all of them? I mean,
if we set up shop, we would have a never-ending line, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. That's how much. It's an epidemic. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times spirit guides direct these people to us. I have a story on the website where this girl Maria walks out of her home in San Diego, walks over a mile through
a
neighborhood, stops in front of a house where a woman is watering the lawn and says, I don't want to startle you or scare you, but I have a voice telling me that you know a man named Robert who can help me. And I knew the woman watering the lawn. Yeah. So they are guided to us. So a lot of times, if they have relatives on the other side, the relatives knows that they're attached, and they will guide that person to us. And we can do, I think the most we've done is like 30 in a month.
And then, this is something, too, that we can touch on. Do you get paid for this? Because I think during the break we were talking about that a little bit. And just for the audience out there, if they want this done, if they think there is something attached to them, I guess there's 3 questions here for you. One is, how often do people say that they're attached and they're not attached? Sort of what's that percentage ratio? Question number 2 would be, if they are attached, how much would something like this cost somebody? Is there a price there?
It's priceless. Let me tell you that. We know that. And we don't want to come in, and I don't want to be like these guys out there. But yeah, if you have a donation to us and you can help me pay for that office, my sister's not working right now. She has health issues. I mean, but it's not what, there's value.
And it's not what you can pay. It's just like, we just like donations for the office. Put it that way.
Yeah, we want to keep, and we'd love to. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Put it this way. Yeah, make it so big that we could set up a school. Make it so big that we could just. I work 40 hours a week in another job, and then here I'm kind of relegated to doing this on weekends because I don't have the time during the day. During the week.
And if you were making a decent living from doing this, essentially, you could
right.
have so much more time to dedicate towards providing this service. I mean, it's unfathomable.
Right. It's kind of like Spider-Man, Peter Parker, He does.
Yep. Secret identity. And, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
We've been looked at by 4 different times with big production companies to get our show going, like a reality show of some sort, blah, blah, blah. We've been looked at. We filmed sizzles. We've done this. And then when it gets to up there, all of a sudden they're like, oh, my gosh, and it's too much for them.
It's too heavy. It really is.
And so can you tell us a story about that? Like, what have you done?
Maybe a film documentary is what you guys need.
Yeah, right. We tried to get in with Lisa Ling because I thought she could do it. But you know what we can work with? You see all these army guys or the military guys coming back from Iraq. Yeah. They're attached by the people they killed.
Or maybe some of the relatives they've killed. You know what I mean? Like, how do you explain it? Like, you would be like coming back and you're like depressed, and these are the military guys and they're killing themselves, or then opening fire on other people.
Yeah, and the Chris Kyle guy, when he died, the person we know, the guy who killed him, was totally attached. No, if he's attached by an Iraqi, guess what? That guy was weak enough, he was depressed enough where that person could take him over, and he'd shoot him. So here the guy takes the blame for it, but it was actually an energetic being that actually caused his demise. So we know that these guys are killing themselves at a rate every day. I have people secretly coming to us from the military, and they're saying, God, can you do it? Can you do it? But you can't tell them it's like this. They'll never believe it. I go, well, listen, there's a truth factor here. We have to be honest about this. They're not going to come in here, and we're not going to do some smoke screens. I'm going to tell them who's on you, and I'm going to take it off of you. And we're going to send you out, and you're going to go back to your life and your families, and you're going to live a life. You're not going to end up suicidal.
I think that's great, and it's positive. And, a lot of what we do at TruthFunders, our website, we help people that have paranormal projects out there. Maybe they're trying to do research. Maybe they're creating books or writing books or want to make DVDs or documentaries, and it's crowdfunding. So they come to us and they create a project on our site, and they say they're trying to raise, $1,000, $10,000, whatever it might be, and then they offer, for your $25 donation, you get a shirt. For your $50 donation, you'll get a credit in the movie when it comes out. Different things like that, and so it's a donation system, and people donate, but they get something in return, and that way it's sort of like it's part of the community too. So other people who see those projects up there, other radio show hosts, they contact us a lot of the time, and they say, hey, TruthFunders, can you get us in touch with that particular person that has that project? I'd love to interview them on our show. And we try to help them sort of get out there and raise the money. But it's a topic we talk about on the show a lot because, on one hand, a lot of people think, oh, well, just because you're if you ask for money, it means you're fake or that you're a fraud. But that's not necessarily true. A lot of times people are trying to raise money because they want to just make the project happen. They just need, that funding to move forward or to...
17, you can't work.
Yeah,
right.
17. Okay, so they got to get over it. I mean, it's not like I'm here trying to... somebody says, well, what if they call it... some people say you're a charlatan. I said, well, if I am, I'm a pretty bad one.
Well, look,
right.
I think more than anything, what you guys need is awareness and discussion and just
Absolutely.
more public knowledge of what you guys are doing. I think if there was more general attention going in your direction, you would have no problems finding funding, especially if you're getting the results that you have clearly logged and all that. It's a matter of getting the name out there and really the information, and that's
why we wanted to get our show going and get it out there, because if it did get out there, it'd go crazy. It would absolutely be the best show on the planet.
Yeah,
I have no doubt about that.
All right, we need to take sorry guys, we got to take a quick break. We're at the top of the hour here. This show is just flying by this week. And it's a good one, and this has been nothing but fun. And in this last half hour here, we always encourage you as listeners to call in, engage, interact, speak with Antonette. She's got the ghosts. She sees them. She sees them. Maybe you see ghosts. I know my mom sees ghosts. My mom sees them on a daily basis. Always seeing ghosts. She's talking about how she's seeing ghosts. I should probably get my mom
and we
to
have
call
gifts this week. If you call in. And want to talk to Robert and Antonette about, potentially there's an attachment that you think you have. We'd love to hear why. And we also have gifts to give away, TruthFunders swag. So go ahead.
What's the phone number, Mark? Give them the phone number now so they can write it down and dial up during the break.
Sure, it's 888-919-2355. That's 888-919-2355. And that's a free call, and you will get free stuff from TruthFunders, as well as some great advice from Robert and Antonette.
If you want Mark and I to sign it, we'll do that too. I know it won't be worth as much, but we will do it. 888-919-2355 is the telephone number. We will be right back here on TruthFunders Radio. My name is Art Webb with Mark Schwartz on the Inception Radio Network. We'll talk to you in a few.
You're locked into Inception Radio Network, Superior, Wisconsin.
TruthFunders Radio on the Inception Radio Network.
We are back live here on the Inception Radio Network. This is TruthFunders Radio. My name is Art Webb. I'm here with Mark Schwartz, and we are talking with Robert Major and his sister Antonette about everything that is ghosts and attachments and spirit guides, and really everything that is essential conversation that we should be having as a society and populace in general that for just some reason nobody is paying any attention to, because somehow, some way, all of these things that are universal energy have been funneled into this superstition type of almost witchcraft sort of taboo that the puritanical values that this country was founded on just completely eradicated any possibility for these conversations. But over the course of time, the truth will rise, as it always does, and we're in the middle of rising that truth right here on TruthFunders Radio. We have so many things that we wanted to get into before the end of the show, so we should start off now with the lightning round. You guys said during the break you wanted to tell a story about a child. Quickly, can an attachment be passed from parent to child? And if a mother gives birth, can that attachment just move on, or even split a part of itself off to that child?
Okay. Well, since you asked that question, so 3 weeks ago we had a whole family come out from Houston, and the young child was autistic with Asperger's, 12 years old or so, but just crazy out there. They asked to check. We said, yeah, that child is attached. So they go after the weakened ones. So the whole family comes out. Come to find out that they're attached by a clan from Scotland, where this man lived 3,000 years ago, and he had massacred a village. He had taken part in the massacre, and he killed all the women, all the children, everybody in the village. Those souls ghosted, and they were searching for this man for 3,000 years, and they found him. And they found him, and when they found him, they attached to his entire family, and their only intention was to destroy his family like he had destroyed theirs.
Wow. So what happened?
Well, we do the removal.
Who did he attach to? Did he attach to the child?
Oh, no, there was more. The child had 12, 19?
Yeah, 19.
19 attachments. So she's overloaded. She's causing all the duress in the family. The older sister is depressed. At 14, going to see a psychiatrist for depression.
On all these medicines.
And all these medicines. The dad's attached. The mom's got attachments. And there's just no peace in this household. So I don't know how prevalent, but what an interesting story that was for us, because they told us the time period. What was the name of them? The Beakers. They said, yeah, he was a part of the Beakers. And we go ahead and we get on the Internet and we research the time periods, and it's always in alignment. They said it was BCE. And I said, I never heard of BCE. Go ahead and Google BCE. There it is. So
this was the spirits were telling you that it was BCE, or was it the family telling you what it was?
He has no knowledge.
The spirit guide that I deal with, who comes through me when I'm in trance, he's the one who detailed who they were and where they came from. Sometimes people ask that question, so we try to clarify who they are and where they came from.
And how long it's been on.
Yeah, they always do that too. So that's what we do, detail.
Yeah.
What form of measurement do you guys use, or how are you able to quantify a difference between 19 attachments or 40 attachments or 12 attachments? What process is that?
I can tell by the darkness in a person's eyes that I go every day. I see attached people going through life, and it's kind of like too bad. I mean, because when they get to that level, they're not going to come in and see us. Those attachments have basically kind of compromise that individual.
And therefore, Bob and I, we really don't shake too many hands.
They're jumpers. Yeah, they can jump.
There's jumpers. There's all kinds of different attachments, so we don't really...
Right. They've set out a little hit squad after us. We understand. It's big, because guess what? That's the problem with the Earth.
You guys must be such a prime target. Like, you must be the number one most wanted list of attachments. You guys must be sitting right at the top. They must be coming after you.
Oh yeah, we know that, and we know there's a danger here, and we could easily.
I mean, we've been attacked several times.
Right, but it's kind of like, well, your life this is just a transitory time. You live forever. So make the best out of your life. Live a significant life. Do great things. Help animals. Help children. Help old people. Do something. Yeah, and this is what we do.
Well, and I think it's that attitude right there that ultimately will always keep you guys on the side of, not being overcome by these attacks. They're just never going to break that barrier because you're coming at it from such a strongly willed heart, and you're aware of that strongly willed heart, and you're keeping it as the number one shield towards against them, that it just seems to me like you really, at the end of the day, don't have anything to worry about.
Oh, really?
That's super funny because I guess we've been attacked several times.
These must be powerful attacks then, because like you were saying earlier on in the program, they stay away from people.
I was doing an interview at the Hilton in Mission Valley here in San Diego, and while I'm in the interview and they're getting ready to set up the filming, for one of the sizzles. The Murphy bed comes down off the wall, full force, right on my head.
So you're being physically attacked. You're not even being attacked in subconscious planes. On this level, you are being attacked.
This is what we're talking. They have physical abilities. So here they release that Murphy bed, and we're talking some serious G's coming down off of that wall. I ended up having to go to the doctors and then rehabbing for a year. My sister gets chased by a driverless car and tries to take her out. She has been choked out with handprints
on my neck.
On her neck. I mean, it is a kind of it is a kind of a questionable thing. A lot of people say, "How come you?"
So then, why do you keep doing it? I mean, if you're, and I already know your answer. I can already tell, and it's a good.
We're not afraid.
Not afraid of them.
Yeah, we're not afraid of them, but you do have to. But
wait a second. At first I was, and don't think I wasn't. I was like, oh, I'm not doing this. But Bob's just like, come on, we're going to do this. We can do this.
We can help people.
Yeah, and I was like, no, I don't really want to help anyone. and then we just kept on.
I'm like Vince Lombardi, Come on, we can do this.
Oh boy!
Well, I'm sure you guys feel a responsibility, honestly, to with the gift that you've been given, to take that gift and then apply it however you possibly can. I mean, I'm sure you could ignore it only for so long before it starts to eat away at you, and you ultimately won't have a choice.
What was the scariest or hardest attachment removal that you guys have ever seen in your 17 years?
April?
No. I always say Mike. Mike was the one where the guy had totally taken him over, the hobos. And when we went to get him, I mean, the spirit guy says, "Here, I'm going to let him talk to you." And and we'll bleep this one out. But that dang guy starts talking, and he goes, "Who the bleep do you think you are?" And to hear that voice, and knowing, saying, "Holy cow, don't have fear here, because fear can break you." So, but to act like, "Hey, I didn't hear that. That didn't bother me." But yeah.
Okay, and then there was April. April was talking really strange and stinking up the room. They stink sometimes.
Yeah, attachments smell. Well, not all of them, but some do.
And what is the smell?
It depends. We had the old lady. She smelled like rose perfume. I mean, we were just pulling the old lady out of the girl, out of a young woman. And
we've had stinky sewer ones smelling like, that was April.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us this April story. So she smelled really badly, and what else was it about her that made it such a hard removal?
She actually started to riff. This is in the early times of removals, right? So she was riffing. You have her on audio.
Oh, right. Before I just did tapes.
Yeah. But now he's got her on audio, but she is actually really creepy. I mean, she sounds kind of like The Exorcist. I guess that voice, like that, and we're all going, oh, man. And the storm inside the house. We had a storm inside the house.
That was our first removal?
It was the very first removal, and we're all, like, his friends were like, oh, we want to see this. You should have seen everybody running for the door. Inside the house, the wind starts blowing, and there's no windows open.
And the windows are vibrating, bam!
Yeah, bam. And then everybody ran for the door at the same time, including me.
It's like, get back here. You have to remove this.
No, but we couldn't get out because everybody was clogging up the door.
So yeah, that's a lot to take on. Do you ever think that, has there ever been like a really funny, I know that sounds strange, but some sort of comedic type attachment where you couldn't believe this, or it made you laugh out loud, is it just all pure darkness? There's nothing.
No, sometimes you feel for him. Sometimes there was a black kid who got killed in East LA at the age of 13. He wanted to be a basketball star, and he attached to this guy, and he wanted to continue his life. And it was like, he says, "Hey man," he goes, "I'm not doing anything." He goes, "I feel so bad. I didn't want to do this, but I didn't get to live my life." He goes, "Please don't take me off. I'm not doing anything to the guy." And then with the guy's permission, he says, "Well, if you're okay with him still hanging with you," and the guy said, "Yeah, I'm okay."
No, but
wow.
You didn't give him. We've never met a ha-ha funny, no.
Well, the Irish kid, remember Happy Feet?
Oh, Happy Feet, yeah, the drunk.
Yeah,
right?
He had a drunk Irishman on him, and he didn't want the drunk Irishman to go because he thought he was going to lose his sense of humor.
Right, just one guy. So we have that one, but I don't believe we have funny anything really.
Yeah, then where are you going to crack up and
stuff?
And do people, like, if you have an attachment, let's say I had an attachment, would I be the one who would reach out to you, or do attachments stop someone from reaching out to you to try to remove it?
Yeah, they'll stop the person. They'll cause mental breakdowns.
Or car breakdowns, or say you're on the way. We've had people on their way to us, right? And they're like, "Man, I'm trying to get there," and somehow something always happens, right? We've had that.
Yeah. Sometimes they go the wrong direction. They can't figure out their GPS.
So somebody can still reach out to you with an attachment saying, "Hey, get this off." They still have the power to do that, but
And if they can't, then they're too far gone. And I wanted to help this one guy, and he was told he had so many on him, but he was totally gone. They said he's not even there anymore.
Which one?
It was the guy the homeless guy walking up and down the street.
That's a woman now?
Yeah, he's a woman now. He used to be this great athlete. And
a coach for a high school.
Coached a high school team. All of a sudden he gets attached. I'd known him forever. And he pushed a cart, and I said, "Man," we knew he had 10 on him. I said, come on, come and see us. And he wouldn't. He asked me if I was crazy.
But then.
And then the women take over. Now the guy's wearing Marilyn Monroe wigs, and
Daisy Duke shorts.
And Daisy Duke shorts. And I'm sitting here going, whoa.
Huh?
So yeah, whoever runs the show kind of runs the show, and they don't. It's like they always don't stay with the person. Sometimes they move on. And I mean, some sad stories. A school teacher gets attached by a woman out of an insane asylum. All of a sudden, she goes crazy, and it just stole her life from her. And those are because I can't physically grab them. I wish I could go up with a little bit of chloroform and put them out and take that damn thing off.
Put it back on the street.
The darkness is big, man. We're just barely touching the tip of the iceberg, but we need people to know about it.
But I have, a couple more questions for you before we're done here. We only have about 5 more minutes left, and then we're going to go ahead and shut down the show. But I really want to thank you guys for coming on today because, there's so many questions that we have. And I know that there's people out there that are listening that might be dealing with stuff, and sure, some of it is, could be just natural and science-based and psychological, but then there might be something else. There might be some sort of paranormal side or something attaching to them. So what kind of advice do you have for those people, and what would you say to them? How can they get help, or can they reach out to you? What's that process sort of entail?
Well, again, I'm at Robert Afterlife at gmail.com. We'll send me your full name at birth and your birth date. We give it to the spirit world. They'll check and see if there's a cocoon around you or not. If there's not, I'm going to tell you you're not attached, and whatever problems you have medical issues, and go see a doctor. But if you are attached, I say come and see us. We'll take the attachment off, and now we'll see what happens. We know that world leaders are attached. We know it is going. It's an epidemic. And guess what? They don't want it to be known because they're ruling this place. They've been here thousands of years, and we're newbies every time around, and we're just kind of like frolicking in the daisies, thinking everything's all right, and it's not all right.
And how does it make you feel when, you see a world leader attached, or, you said Beyonce earlier in the show, or there's just someone you're walking by and maybe you sense that they're attached and you can't do anything about it? How does that make you feel? Or is there any way that you have to sort of deal with that? Because I'm sure it causes some sort of anxiety.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we do our best. That's all we can do. We do the best we can. And I reached out to Bruce Jenner's agent before he did the sex change. I said, come on, man, don't do the sex change. Come and see us. What happens? But now, so he's gone. We know Robin Williams had 9 on him, and they were all causing big depression on the poor man.
He lived just down the street from where I'm located. Not just down the street, but I'd say at least a few blocks away, but really, really close here. And it's, that was a shame, a shame the day we lost him. And definitely, he had some demons, that's for sure. And do you think that they're demons, or they're attachments? They're not big enough to be demons yet, right?
We can't go with the demons. I know people would like to hear that, but we've never met a demon. We just haven't been 17 years. We haven't met a demon. We've met some really bad attachments. Now, we like to reach out. If you know him, maybe you know the guy who does Let's Make a Deal. Yeah, I mean, that guy, he's got a bunch of them. And
wow. And who else? What are some other people? Can you mention any celebrities out there that?
Actors, yeah, we know that Pierce Brosnan has one, but he's an actor that's attached to him, and we know that these people, because they want to be in these attachments. Who would you rather hop on? A Beyonce or
a poor guy?
Or a poor guy? You're gonna want to go for the gusto because. Yeah, so a lot of those people in Hollywood, we know they got them.
Sure. And, what about sports celebrities?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. That guy Halliday, when he was having all those mental issues, the guy from Texas, I think, I tried to get in touch with his wife and say, hey, man, we can help him out. We know he's attached. And we always look for certain behaviors. When something happens that's totally out of the ordinary, all of a sudden that person was okay, and now he's no longer okay. That's what we look for.
So Bob always has reached out he'll reach out to anybody, stars, anything, and tell them that they're attached, and we never hear anything back, and we think it's funny because they think we're probably some cuckoos that are telling them stuff. We would like to get it out there. And he doesn't care. He'll still tell them. He'll email them. He'll do all that. He gets in touch with people. Even if somebody dies and say they showed up and wanted to talk to us, he'll get in touch with their parents or whoever.
Oh yeah.
He's done that quite a few times. So. Yeah,
because a lot of times ghosts come to us and they want help and they want to reach out. And I do my best. That's all I can tell you.
Well, it's great. And you guys, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Art and I both really appreciate it. And, everyone out there listening, if you feel that you have an attachment and you need help, you can go ahead and email Robert at robertafterlife@gmail.com. And Antonette, Robert, I just, once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I will be in touch with you guys. I have a couple of follow-up questions, and I'd actually like to get you back on the show sometime in the future and just kind of check in with you and see how things are going.
Yeah, I do have. As you're talking, we went out and made ghost remover hats. So
great!
Ghost come on them. Yeah. So maybe we'll trade you off. So, yeah, you can.
Absolutely. And is there anywhere people can donate to? Can they just go to the website www.ghostremoval.com and find a way to donate, or do they just email you as well?
You would email me if they really feel that way. It's Ghost Remover, not Ghost Removal.
My apologies. Ghostremover.com. That's GOST REMOVER.com. All right. Well, thank you both. You are fantastic guests. Wow. I can't believe TruthFunders Radio went by that quick today. There's just so much to talk about. So, thank you guys. Any last things you want to say to the world, scream to everyone and let them know?
Stay strong, stay clear. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it.
And enjoy your life and do some good things. That's what we say.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Everybody, we're going to go ahead and put the website up on our Facebook page. You can visit us at TruthFunders on Facebook. You could go to www.truthfunders.com. And as always, you can listen to our archive of previous shows, or if you just heard a piece of today's show and want to hear the rest, it will be up in the next day. And you can download the Inception Radio app. Go out to the Apple iTunes Store or Google, and you can go ahead and download that puppy. It's a great app to have. You can also download us on iTunes, and we will be back next week where we are going to be talking to a very special musician who was in touch with aliens and extraterrestrials in order to write some of the songs that him and his band have come up with. So we'll be talking about that next week. And everyone, for Arts, Webb, and myself, take care, stay safe, and we will see you next week. Take care. Bye.
TruthFunders Radio on the Inception Radio Network.